What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Crown Cinema Podcast. In this episode, we are breaking down
And literally just watched
War Dogs.
What a fun movie.
Classic.
I mean, seriously, like that's just good, clean fun right there.
Yeah, it's one of those like guilty pleasure, like Wolf of Wall Street type movie where they're doing bad shit, but they're getting successful at it. So you kind of enjoy the rise.
Yeah.
But you know what they're doing is pretty fucked up.
Yeah. And I love the direction of, where Todd Phillips took this movie, because this is some serious shit that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Now, in retrospect, the reason this whole story got found out, well, I mean, New York Times in the movie, but really it was Rolling Stones.
Okay.
Sorry, I was about to say Rockefeller. I was like, no, that's not right. No, Rolling Stones did a 5-page article on these guys.
Full ass story.
Yeah. And Todd Phillips heard about it and just kind of ran with it. Made it his own. Now, obviously, it's based on a true story, but there's a lot of things that were added in there.
Yeah, a lot of liberties taken.
Yeah. But why not? Why not? It's a fun story. And
do you know the true story?
Yeah.
What is it? I didn't really look into it.
I mean, the true story, the story itself is true. It's about these guys that are, small crumb arms dealers in America. And, everything about Dick Cheney's, his people, they were the ones that were making a bunch of money.
Halliburton.
Yeah. They were making a bunch of money. They were getting pretty much every contract. So it was all going to, back into his pockets. And then so George Bush's, they passed something to where you have to give the little man a shot. So it just lets them.
Makes it look fair. Makes it look like it's not a scam.
Yeah. And essentially, it is, the little guys are able to make a buck. And
right.
so, it was better than what it had been before. And so Jonah Hill's character, Effraim. Sorry. It's a weird name.
Yeah, it is a weird name. Even on writing his name down in notes, they say it's not a right spelling.
Yeah, Effraim is a weird name, but
must be a Jewish name.
Even his backstory of his character in this movie, it was all true. Like he was sent to LA to live with his uncle who bought and resold guns.
He wasn't doing it with the military. He was just doing it locally, or in the nation.
I wouldn't say locally. Maybe to, I don't know, the police, that kind of thing. I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm
wherever
not
you
sure
sell guns, gun stores, maybe.
Wherever you can sell guns legally.
Yeah,
it was a legitimate business. Okay. Yeah, it was fine. So he did. That's how he got introduced to everything, which is what we see in the movie. So that's all true. I don't even want to break down what's not true, because it just doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, Todd Phillips read a 5-page article and turned it into this.
Yeah, based on a true story, not a true story.
Yeah,
based on a true story.
I'm telling you, he got everything essentially right. He didn't get anything wrong that was major. All the big stuff that happens, as far as the money goes, the money trail, all of that was true.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, 150-page screenplay, he definitely added some stuff that made it a great movie. For instance, I'll just burst your bubble. The whole driving to Baghdad, that whole thing, not true. But
that would make sense.
So awesome.
Yeah.
To put in
great
the movie.
Scene.
Yeah, great. So much fun.
The one thing I did see was that Effraim in real life, because the names are correct, they kept the names of the people as the characters, but Effraim was apparently way worse than he was in the movie.
Oh, really?
They say, if you were to compare it, Effraim in War Dogs is a teddy bear compared to the real life Effraim. He was ruthless, brutal, expects you to work 24/7. We're making money. Fuck you. Just one of those, just abusing his employees.
I've heard of guys like that.
And then what's even cool is the line that the line where David tells the Jewish guy that's funding their operation that has a laundromats. He tells him, "I'm not sure you really ever met the real Effraim."
Yeah.
Because he pretends to be whoever you want him to be.
Yeah.
And that line came from the actual judge. From the screenplay, at the very end, instead of it ending how it ends, they kind of tell you the real story, like a normal based on a true story movie does, where they tell you what actually happened afterward. And they say the judge told Effraim, I'm not sure we've ever seen the real Effraim. Or it said something along those lines.
Okay.
It's that's where I guess that line was written in the script, but they brought it in a different way because they changed the ending, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think that the way it was written, it seemed like that was the real case. So I guess the judge said that to Effraim because they know he's just like a psychopathic, just sociopath kind of guy.
Yeah, and I kind of appreciate them not bringing any of the court scenes into the movie because like it's like Miles Teller's character says, like they had him dead to rights. I mean, it was so obvious.
There's no drama in the courtroom. They fucking did it.
Yeah, like they had everything they needed on these guys. So yeah, like that makes sense that they didn't put that in the movie. Yeah, man. I mean, it's trippy because I don't know if Effraim is still in jail, the real one.
Ooh.
Not sure.
Well, his business, they say at the end of the movie that AEY is eligible to bid on government contracts in 2022.
Yeah, but he was also sentenced to 40 years. So I'm not sure.
Oh, 40 years. No, I thought it was only 4 years. Yeah, so no, Effraim Diveroli is not currently in jail.
Only a 4-year sentence.
He served his 4-year sentence for conspiracy to defraud the United States.
Damn, my bad. I totally heard that wrong. I definitely heard 40 years.
4.
Okay, yeah, he's out.
4.
Wonder what's he up to.
And then I'm not sure if this is really either. Maybe we can fact check this in a second. But in the script, there's a scene at the very end where Effraim is just selling magazines because he can't sell ammo or guns because he's a felon.
Yeah.
So he can't touch them. So he only sells magazines to people inside the United States, I guess more closely to what his uncle is doing. And so some guy's like trying to convince him to like get a gun or let me get some bullets. Like, come on, man, you're the guy. Like, let me get some shit. And he's like, nah, man, I don't do that anymore. And he's like, come on, man. He like has him touch the gun and he like picks it up and then cops just swarm him in the scene and just arrest him. He's like, oh, y'all motherfuckers, y'all got me for touching a gun. So he's all pissed off about it. But so I wonder if he actually got 2 more years, if that was a real thing or they just added that for the drama, for the comedy.
That would be crazy if that were true. But I don't know. I mean, this whole story, the real story is crazy. I mean, like them getting high as shit to go talk to the U.S. government about an arms deal, that's real.
That's crazy.
That's 100. Like they confirm that. But apparently Jonah Hill, like when you're an actor and you're portraying a character on screen, you typically want to go to the source material and like kind of talk to the guy, just kind of get to know him a little bit so you can bring a little bit of personality on screen. Effraim didn't say one word to anybody on this movie. He just refused. He was,
Well, he doesn't want his image painted in a bad light. He's that kind of guy who wants the power and wants to be the man.
Yeah. So now he can just say, oh, Jonah Hill, that's not me at all.
Yeah.
I mean, man, this movie has it all. I mean, you've got war, America involved in it, lots of free speech, guns drawn, scandals, Ana de Armas, Miami, Scarface references, Ana de Armas. I love this movie. I love this movie so much. It's like I said when we got through watching it, I was like, if anybody were to ever say, hey, man, I'm about to throw this War Dogs movie on, is that cool with you? I will always say, yeah, that'll play.
Yeah. Because it does a great job of balancing the seriousness of the story with the comedy.
But also educating.
And yeah,
this is a very interesting story, and it's crazy that it happened, but it also just puts things in perspective of how this war was going down, and like how, because
we're all curious about it, and we nowadays know what happens with war and how it's just this giant money machine.
Yeah, well, people say like, oh, war makes money. Well, how?
Right, and they break it down of just how much fucking money goes into war and how many billions of dollars a few people make.
Yeah, well, because I think at one point, what is Miles Teller's character's name?
David Packow.
Thank you. David says like at the very beginning, he was like, it's pretty much $1 billion just to run the AC for a war.
Yeah,
and
every soldier's $17,000. I think it was $17,900.
Yeah.
So a lot of money.
Yeah, a lot of money, a lot of killing. Yeah, but I liked it. I watched an interview before we watched this movie, and it was a Q&A with Bradley Cooper and Todd Phillips. It was really cool. Obviously, they've worked on projects together with all the Hangover movies. Yeah. Somebody asked Todd, like, how did you go about making this story, like, a drama, but also like throwing in some comedy there. And I loved his answer because it really is true. It was like he was just reflecting on how real this shit would be for these guys. I mean, you're talking about two guys who are doing drugs. They're in their early 20s. Or actually, I think David was 19.
No way.
And Effraim was 23.
All right, let's see.
There's something I saw like that. 21 and 25.
Okay, so Effraim was 21 and David Packow was 25.
Regardless, two guys that are essentially, they could be in college.
They should be in college.
They should be in college.
Maybe not David, but
and
6 year.
Oh, Effraim was the younger one. That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
That is a hustler.
Yeah, but regardless, this movie does a good job of showing you like how much pressure they're under. But it's ridiculous how much weed they're smoking, how much cocaine they're doing.
Makes sense because they're in their early 20s,
right? Like
getting
they're
high
still
all day.
partying, and so with characters like that, they're too young to actually understand like the magnitude of what they're doing. So this movie does a good job of showing like some days these guys were just, honestly, a lot of days these guys were just high as balls and just making a lot of money.
But it makes sense though because their day job when they're not on the phone is pretty boring. They're scrolling a government website, which is built like shit, having to find these little contracts. They're just getting stoned, chilling, probably listening to music, just searching the website, looking for contracts and where they can potentially make money.
Yeah, and regardless, they're making money, so like they're good. And then it shows the bad days. It shows what happens if you try to fuck over an arms dealer, the U.S. government.
Well, now you're working and you're competing and trying to manipulate money from real power.
Yes.
War, the top power.
Yeah.
People that run countries and are funding wars. That's the real power. And they're trying to squeeze as much money as they can out of these people and these deals.
I know.
So
it's crazy to think about just two stoners that just pretty much accidentally got into the arms game.
Yeah.
They were just like, oh shit, whoa, you see what we just did?
Yeah.
Wow.
Probably distracted them from the fact that they're sending weapons to kill people and there's innocent lives being taken with these weapons, probably.
Yep. You can't think about that though. I feel like if you were to get into this game, you do have to just look at it as that war is happening, whether I want it to or not. I can go to all the rallies. I can go to all the protests I want. I can date a chick that will not have sex with me unless I support it.
Yeah.
Regardless of all the things that I don't want to happen, if the U.S. government wants it to happen, I can't stop it. Probably.
Yeah. I mean, their mindset is just like Ephraim's whole mindset is just, he's the type of guy that will always just push responsibility off of himself to make sure he wins the deal. Like he's never going to actually look at things logically. Yeah. So when it comes to this, he's like, well, like, it's going to happen anyway, so I might as well make a buck off of it.
Right.
Why would I let them do it? Why not let me do it?
Yeah. And dude, okay, so apparently that was slimy. He was that slimy in real life. I mean, we kind of already get that, but one of the things that I saw that David did confirm was that there's a scene where they're trying to get the Italian guns.
The Berettas?
The Berettas to Iraq. Can't do it. And so, the military guy that's down there, he's trying to just shut the whole deal down. And
canceling for clause, which means that they will never, ever get a contract ever again.
Yeah. And Effraim goes into this whole sob story of like, hey, listen, I'm a small business and I have a beautiful wife and we have a child that was just born. And if you shut this down, we're done for. Like, I can't take care of him. General hangs up on him. That happens in the movie. In real life, I don't know what the exact circumstances were, but he did make that phone call and he did act like that. He said something along those lines of, if you shut me down, I lose everything for my family. But in real life, it worked.
Damn.
That's crazy. That is insane. That's America.
And but if you're David and you see that happen, you're like, okay, I got to leave. This guy's clearly a liar with no real morals. He's willing to lie to anybody. So I got to get out of this business. This is a horrible business partner to be
but I think at that point, you don't really realize how much money he's really made. They made a good chunk of money.
Sure.
For some guys that are in their early 20s.
I mean, it's hard to say no when you're getting $100,000 checks.
And
you're, just basically for not really doing work.
Yeah, you're just scanning the computer.
You're making phone calls. You're the middleman. So you're not transporting it. You're calling the transporter to transport it. And you're just being the guy in the middle, setting up the deal and making a big chunk of money off of it.
Yeah. So in a way, I would just be like, well, like, I don't want to lose that money either. So, but yeah. So what are your thoughts on the movie? What you got?
I just love it because it like does that balance so well of the drama with the comedy.
Yeah.
But it also uses the comedy in a way to tell you about the characters, but making it funny. So it's entertaining, but they're also letting you know about the characters. Like with Ephraim's character, there's like so many character moments throughout it where you just can see who he is as a person, but it's funny. Like the opening scene, his character introduction is just perfect to know exactly who this man is because he walks into the funeral looking all flashy, but he's talking to the parents, like touching the mom's face like he knows her for years. He's like, I'm so sorry. He's a great man. All this stuff. And then he goes to the back. And then immediately when they leave, he's like, I didn't know you were close with him. He's like, fuck. Or he said, you came here for his funeral? He's like, fuck no, I didn't come here for this. I barely knew the guy.
Which so, like, you do find out is true because this guy, Effraim, hasn't seen any of these guys since junior high. So like 12, 13 years old.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like, what I
mean?
didn't
know him when he was 13.
Yeah.
But he's going around acting like he knows everybody. Yeah. So he's a liar who just pretends to be somebody to, make the other person like him more. So he's willing to change his personality and just lie. So you immediately know he's a liar. And then there's like another one whenever he's shooting at the gun range with his first time he takes David to the gun range and he's shooting the gun. And he only hits the hostage. He doesn't kill the guy behind holding the hostage with the gun. He only kills the hostage. He's like, oh, well, at least I got something.
Yeah,
so he's like,
hit something.
That's kind of going to his like personality where he just will push off responsibility and just only accept the good things that he can think for himself. And he'll just only make it to where he seems like he's in the right.
Yeah.
So he's always doing that. And then the big one is like a double meaning, he says, whenever he hires his first team of salesmen and they're having their first meeting, he's giving them the intro to the job. And one guy asks him, what does AEY stand for? He's like, fucking these companies don't stand for anything. What does IBM stand for? Nothing. The guy corrects him and tells him what IBM stands for. And then he tells him to get the fuck out. And then he says, by the way, AEY stands for nothing.
And for the record, AEY doesn't stand for anything.
Which is a double meaning. It literally doesn't stand for anything with the letters, but it also doesn't really stand for anything morally. So they're willing to lie to a general and pretend like he has a family and a newborn baby and he needs his business to raise the kid.
Yeah.
So
they're willing to lie to everybody. I mean, even their Jewish, biggest investor.
Yeah.
That's like the biggest, if you're David, that's got to be the biggest red flag. It's like, wait, you want me to put this yarmulke on to go to this business? I'm not Jewish. It was like, well, why don't we just be Jewish?
Yeah. Let's just pretend.
It's going to get us paid a lot of money. And then, but to him that like started out harmless. It's like, oh, okay, like put the yarmulke on, be a little respectful, try and, find some common ground with this guy, even though it's absolutely not true.
Yep.
But just that kind of snaky stuff.
Yeah. And
because David's no innocent guy either. He knew everything was illegal. You can't just forge documents.
No. He got caught up into something he wasn't expecting and then had to see it through because the money was probably too good. He was young and ignorant, or more like young and naive. So he just kind of went along with it.
Yeah.
And Effraim was Ephraim's a salesman. He can say whatever you want to hear to make you do something.
He's damn good salesman.
So he was just in his ear the whole time telling him like, it's going to be fine. We can do this and that. You're going to be rich, blah, blah, this and that. So you can sympathize with David because you're like, I understand you got caught up in this. You're just a 21-year-old dude getting high, getting stoned. You don't give a fuck.
I love it.
Making a ton of money.
I love it. The casting, incredible for this movie.
It truly is.
Yeah. Todd Phillips, he said when he was writing this movie, it was all for Jonah Hill. He knew that Jonah had to be Effraim.
Which is the perfect casting because without Jonah Hill's comedy and his funny laugh and him being who he is, you wouldn't sympathize with that character at all. Because like when you read Effraim in like that second draft I read, or you just hear the words he says without even thinking about the performance that Jonah Hill's giving, he's a piece of shit.
He's
there's
evil.
Nothing redeemable about it. Nothing redeemable. The only redeemable factor in the movie is that he's funny, which is important to the audience because we're here to be entertained by the movie. So you like Effraim because he's funny.
Yeah. So if you get some kind of like good looking jacked tool, that's what you're going to get. And you're just going to hate him from the whole moment. Yeah.
You're going to be like, why is David with this guy? This is so stupid.
Yeah. Why am I supposed to be entertained by this guy?
Yeah.
Like I just hate him.
Unless he was just like so over the top, then maybe it'd be funny.
Yeah.
But with Jonah Hill, it's just perfect to give the audience that entertainment and then let them sympathize somewhat with Effraim.
Yeah, I mean, in reality, like for Jonah, this is just an easy payday. I'm sorry. I mean, he had this character down. He's essentially when we were watching the movie, I said this. People compare him to Eric Cartman.
Dude, he is Eric Cartman to a T.
He 100% is. I mean, that is Eric Cartman when he grew up, literally on all fronts. Eric Cartman would totally get into arms dealing.
And be successful.
And just fuck over everybody. He would totally pretend to be Jewish to make a lot of money.
Yes, which he has in the show.
Right. Yeah. And so I love that. I love that so much. But he's
even built like Eric Cartman, round body, like it's literally Eric Cartman.
Yeah, no, he put on some weight for this movie.
He did?
Yeah, he put on like 40 pounds. And we all know Jonah Hill at this time was like a bigger dude.
Yeah.
But 40 pounds, you see a difference. But I like to think that this is just his character from Superbad after high school. This is just what happened to him.
No, I think he'd be too pussy. Super bad character, unless he just had like a some type of character arc where he became confident in himself.
Yeah, maybe
after that kiss he became hella confident. He was gonna sell arms.
Yeah, I just I'm thinking about when they're in Jordan and they're just in the hotel for like 3 days, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And Effraim it was just super bad, all like in my face. He was just like, "You think I'm fucking happy here? Been in Jordan for 3 days, no air conditioning, can't even pay for a fucking blowjob.
We're in a Muslim country. I can't even get a blowjob. It's embarrassing."
Yeah.
I was like, that is the type of rant that his character from Superbad would go on.
Yep, true.
It's
very true.
That kind of thing, just obsessed with money.
And Eric Cartman. It's like a blend between a Superbad character and Eric Cartman. If they merged into one person, this is who
once Eric Cartman hits puberty and, understands what horniness feels like.
Yeah.
He would be real pissed that he wouldn't be able to pay for a blowjob in Jordan while trying to sell illegal guns.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just really good.
It's funny too with David's intro because this is again going with that where they're showing you the comedy, but they're also telling you a story. And so the opening with him, he's giving the massages. And just so he's a straight dude. So if you're a straight dude and you're a masseuse, it already is pretty gay if you have to oil up big rich dudes, and just rub their back for an hour.
If you're gonna be a straight man giving massages, I mean, you just have to accept the fact that for the rest of your life, you're gonna hear gay jokes.
Yes,
There's just no way
you're
around
gonna encounter a bunch of gay dudes that just hire you because Miles Teller's a good-looking guy.
Yeah,
so they're hiring him because they got a cute guy rubbing his back.
And I mean, damn, dude, do you have to wear the pink shirt?
Miami, baby. Miami. But so it's funny because the opening scene of him, the first shot of him is the gayest thing you could possibly do.
Yeah.
To tell that he's rubbing the guy's back, dick to head, rubbing down his back. That's got to be so uncomfortable for him. He's not a gay dude, which he's not. So it's just that's the comedy there, but also telling you how much this job sucks for this character.
Yeah.
And then
especially that guy in particular, he's got a house on the beach in Miami. I mean, this dude made a lot of money.
Butt naked.
What comes with a lot of money? A lot of sexual desires completed, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Pretty much whenever this guy wants it. So
just like Effraim.
Just worst case scenario for Miles Teller's character, David. This guy that he's giving a massage to, he's used to getting that happy ending.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And here's the other thing. Never mind.
Go for it.
I was going to say, I'm wrong. I was going to say, how do we know he didn't? But he definitely puts the towel back over the guy. So yeah. Okay, my bad.
He wasn't working those extra tips.
Yeah.
He's okay with his $100 an hour.
$75
an hour?
$75 an hour.
Damn.
Not bad. Unless you live in Miami.
Yeah. Even that's probably decent. If you're massaging all day though. You don't have 8 hours of massages lined up. And that'd be so tiring.
Right? Yeah, you got to take a break.
Yeah. In that second draft
you
that I read.
Stretch.
In that second draft that I read, they play more to the people that hire him are a bunch of gay dudes. And so they're always insinuating things to him. And he said he had a line for everything. So he didn't want to tell the clients no to not get the business because he needed the money. So he's kind of hustling the gay guys. But like everything they would just say to him, he would figure out a way to deflect it to be more professional.
Yeah.
But like not say like stop.
Yeah.
So it was kind of funny.
Maybe be a little flirtatious.
Yeah, like he said, some guys
Maybe
would
like that comes after the third one. Maybe.
no.
If you talk to me nicely.
Yeah. There's one where he, some guys basically asking him like, do you offer any special services? And he said, well, I consider all my work special services, you know, playing it off professional. He's like, that's not what I mean. He's like, well, could you explain? And in the script, he mentions like a voiceover where he says, he'd always make them say it to his face if they wanted like a hand job or something. He'd like make them say it. And he'd be like, oh, sorry, we don't do that.
Yeah.
But he'd be like, what do you mean? I don't understand. And just like force them. He wouldn't get it. Just make the guys admit it to him. But it's pretty funny. But like, so this opening scene here is just great because it puts you right in the mind of him with the most uncomfortable position you can be in, where you know this guy's gay. He probably massaged him multiple times. Probably throws a towel off every single time he does it.
Yep.
And now his dick's right above his head, and this guy's loving it as he's rubbing his back, going right to the butt.
This movie has everything.
It does.
War, scandals, Ana de Armas, gay massages, the American dream.
Yep. It's also so truthful because obviously Effraim's a good salesman. And if you know things about sales training, it's like the way that sales trainers talk is that you want to find the real problem that somebody's facing so then you can solve it with your service. So if you're selling like plumbing, okay, maybe their real problem is like they're worried about something happening with their family and they want to keep them safe and this and that. No, this is a bad example, but then you just talk to that problem of like the family and safe. You don't really talk about the plumbing service. You talk about what that real problem is. And so Effraim, being a salesman, they write this so well because whenever David tells Effraim that
I miss not taking shit from anyone.
Effraim looks at him and now he knows the real problem. So now he can leverage that to then have him work for him.
Yeah.
And promise him all the money that he's not going to get. Effraim never intended to pay him. I mean, they never signed a contract. He signed it, but stole it the same day.
Yeah.
So he never really intended to actually be a business partner with David. Effraim did. So he hears that and he's like, there's my problem right there. Now I can leverage this.
Yeah.
So he kind of uses that throughout the movie. And then also with him pretending to be who he wants to be, whenever he's trying to convince David to do something, Ephraim's always reminiscing. Because David did that to him when they first met up again. He's reminiscing about, remember when we did this? But you remember this next day when we did that?
Yeah.
So Ephraim's always reminiscing. That's why in the final scene, not this final scene, but towards the end, whenever they get arrested and the FBI's waiting for him, that elevator ride before the FBI gets him, Effraim reminisces with him.
You know, Scarface was on TV last night, and I was watching it thinking about when we were little.
And that's when he's like, are you ever not acting?
Yeah.
Because he knows you're only reminiscing because you know I like to reminisce. Because I thought we were friends.
Yeah.
So you want to pretend like we're friends. So you just notice that a few times where when he's reminiscing to him, you know he's just lying because he wants something out of him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good. Miles Teller. Great actor.
Truly.
It was cool though, because like I was saying, Todd Phillips, he wrote this for Jonah Hill, but he could not figure out who he wanted David to be. It has to be almost like a total opposite, because the thing is with David's character is that, you know, he's really put himself in a bad situation. You know, he means well. Obviously, he's been eating shit, you know, by being the masseuse. And then he tries to do the right thing and be like a good old American entrepreneur. And he's trying to look out for the elderly.
Yep.
Quickly finds out that that's just not how it works. So, but he's got a kid on the way. I mean, are you kidding me? Mm-hmm. Just bad cards dealt to. In this case, the character is a good guy. So you just feel bad for him. He's a likable guy. He's got friends. He's got a hot girlfriend, so you know he's got to be somewhat cool.
That's why they wrote it in the point of view of David.
Yeah.
Because you needed to sympathize with the character.
For
if
sure.
Effraim, it was from his point of view, then you'd be like, fuck this guy. I hope he loses. But you kind of root for David.
I know, and David also keeps trying to do the right thing here. He keeps trying to point out that, like, this is wrong. But Effraim keeps just getting in his head. Well, first off, he keeps giving him that money. But he also keeps getting in his head. He was like, this is just war. And the U.S. government actually wants us to do this. They just don't want to catch us doing it.
Right.
Like, they want us to kind of get our hands a little dirty here.
Like they
so
do.
They can, so they can look the other way. And he's like, you know, You're right. He was against America being in the war, but he's easily convinced, and it's an easy thing to convince somebody to do with that kind of money. Is like, this war's happening, and if you want to make some serious dough, I can show you the way so you can support your family. But it's funny. So casting that character, it's tough. But Todd Phillips was actually a producer on the famous Project X. And so Todd, one day, for one of the main scenes that Miles Teller has in that movie, I think it's the grocery store scene. It's nothing crazy. It's not anything that wild. But Todd was technically a producer, but Miles tells it that Todd like showed up to set and pretty much just was the director for the day.
Yeah.
And I guess they
just for that day.
Just pretty much. He like showed up to set and then
started running the show.
Yeah, just started running it, and because this guy is legendary. He did Old School too.
Todd Phillips.
Yeah.
Oh shit,
that's crazy. Had no idea.
Damn.
This guy has done Old School and Joker too. This guy is all over the place.
Yeah, he's like slowly crept into more drama.
Yeah.
Because War Dogs is not a pure comedy. It's got some drama in it.
No, this is like the next step of Hangover.
Yeah.
This is the next step up.
Yeah, because even Hangover had some drama in it, but it was mainly funny. It was pure comedy, but it had a little bit of drama. This is leaning more into the drama, still with comedy.
Yeah.
And then obviously Joker is no comedy. I guess it kind of is a comedy with the Joker, but dark story.
We laughed. I don't think we were really supposed to, but we did. But anyways, yeah, Todd just said that Miles Teller was like the guy. Like when it really came down to, and Miles Teller is the guy.
He's pretty cool dope.
Even Tom Cruise saw potential in him.
Because he picked him for Maverick, or he knew he wanted to work with him or something, right?
Yeah. I don't know like what the audition process was, but regardless, Tom Cruise like had the final say in all decisions made when it comes to Top Gun.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise gets that green light.
Yeah.
And Miles Teller got that. So like, yeah, he's a pretty cool guy. He's a Philadelphia fan. I hate him for that. That one kind of hurts, but I'm sure like if I had a beer with Miles and if we just didn't talk anything to do with NFL, I'd like him. I think we'd be all right.
Yeah. What's funny too with like them showing the comedy with the drama is like in the beginning when there's a little bit of exposition, whenever Ephraim's telling David what he does, how he sells, why he's working with the military, and they have their night vision goggles on. The way they shoot it is so awkward, and it's funny because the way Jonah Hill's just standing like square in the frame, speaking with his night vision goggles on. It's so funny, and that joke visually then also just makes you really realize what the fuck is this guy doing selling, being an arms dealer for the U.S. government? Like what the fuck? Like this guy's sitting here with night vision goggles, smoking weed, joking with his buddy.
Yeah.
So,
but he also had just pulled out an assault rifle.
Yep.
On like really it was just 4 guys in a neighborhood.
Yeah.
But
that's another little small character moment of knowing who he is because whenever he has the machine gun, David's obviously freaking out. He's like, you can have a fully automatic weapon. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what was that? He's like, it's fine. I have a class 5 or whatever the classification you need to get a assault rifle. He's like, I have this permit. And he like just fucking throws it in his trunk so nonchalantly. Like he's clearly not the guy that should be having this license.
Yeah. He probably had like a shady connect to get that license.
Yeah. You can't be shooting that shit in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
Maybe in Florida you can.
Yeah.
Maybe in Miami.
Yeah. But I like that night vision scene. Because it essentially, oh my God, I just blanked on Effraim.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's just such a weird name. It's showing, well, once you know at the end of the movie that Effraim is just a piece of shit, it's just showing that Effraim was playing the card of, like you said, reminiscing. It's just 2 guys smoking weed, probably just talking about the good old days, and that's it.
Yeah.
And then What's one of the coolest things you can do when you're just having a smoke session with your boy? Night vision goggles. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, badass.
Like, that is so awesome.
Shit, I want some night vision goggles.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? So, like, it's just showing, like, how stupid. They're pretty much, like, their characters are just back in junior high.
Yeah. Which might be a Ephraim sales trick to get him to love the business is by showing him how cool. Look, we get to play with cool toys.
Yeah.
You're 25. Don't you love this?
Yeah.
You want some more weed?
Exactly. That is what he's doing. I mean, the night vision, it's always been a cool shot. Think about Step Brothers. So funny.
Love that movie. That's probably my number one comedy movie.
That's a good one to have.
I've seen that movie probably at least 10 times. Maybe more.
That's a reasonable amount of times to watch that movie.
Yeah.
Like that makes sense.
Quotable.
Great movie.
So quotable.
But they have a night vision scene in that movie, and it's it's essentially like this.
Yeah. It is literally. Well, it's kind of interesting you bring that up because like Adam McKay was the dude that did like Talladega Nights, Step Brothers, all those really funny Will Ferrell movies. Todd Phillips did The Hangover and a lot of other funny movies, old school, right? Yeah. But they both kind of transitioned into like a semi-dramatic funny movie with Adam McKay doing The Big Short and him doing War Dogs. Todd Phillips doing War Dogs. So it's kind of cool. They like those two directors kind of in a sense follow the same path where they're doing comedy, but they decided to step into like a half drama, half comedy type story.
Adam McKay, he did some type of show, I want to say, that is more, it's like drama and comedy. It's a dramedy.
Dramedy?
Yeah. I want to say it's the Paul Rudd and Will Ferrell show. But Don't Look Up. That was a good one.
I hated that movie.
Wow, I like that movie.
I didn't like it. I feel like it wasn't committing to being funny or being real. Like, it's obviously it's about talking about global warming. So it's like very much a clear message. But it's like, is it funny?
Yeah,
it's just kind of, I don't
honestly,
know.
I was able to get past the propaganda, even though I knew it was being thrown in my face. I could see it. But I was just appreciating like how funny it would be if the world was ending and the government was just like, no. It's actually not ending. Thought that was funny.
Yeah.
I was able to get past it.
I mean, that wasn't what ruined it. I just feel like they couldn't hit either. Is this going to be really funny or is it going to be a commentary? Like it was just like they had like half foot in, half foot out on both of them. And I just couldn't. I wasn't laughing at it. Okay. I didn't think it was that funny.
Okay.
But personal opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't mind it. Jonah Hill. Damn. He got to play like essentially the same character as he did in Superbad. And I'm saying essentially, I mean just it's really more the rants that he can go on.
Yeah.
And just like the stunts that he pulls to achieve literally only what he wants to achieve without thinking of what happens to other people.
Yeah.
And he got to like borrow a little bit of Leonardo DiCaprio's Wolf of Wall Street, Jordan Belfort performance.
Yeah.
You know, just...
Well, this came out before that, right?
No, Wolf of Wall Street came out... Well...
I think it might have came out in 2012. Yeah, so 2013 is Wolf of Wall Street. So this came out 3 years later. So he probably drew from it. He was in that environment already, studied that environment, so he kind of knew.
I know, good for him. Like he kind of just like got his own. Like, all right, now I get to be the guy that says like, if you do exactly what I tell you, I will make you rich.
Yep.
And he kills it. Wow, I cannot believe that Wolf of Wall Street came out in 2013. That means it took me 2 years to see it. I was 15 the first time I watched that movie, and I can't believe...
It took me way longer than that.
Yeah, probably. I can't believe that happened. I don't know how I didn't get my hands on it sooner.
You didn't know. You're just a little 13-year-old boy playing airsoft in the woods.
No, I was past that, dude. 13 years old, I was trying to...
You're getting drunk?
No, 13 years old, I was trying to impress girls. I definitely...
13? What age is that?
That's like... I was in 7th grade.
7th grade.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when,
Yeah, that's when it was,
That's when the hormones start firing up. Try to find you a little shotty.
Like a war dog.
Little middle school shotty.
That's what they should have called me at the age of 13. They should have called me War Dog.
Why? Oh, God. It's a battlefield out here. Only one man survives.
Yeah, sorry.
That's funny.
How did this happen? Yeah. Wolf of Wall Street came. Yeah, see, I don't know. I mean, I love movies like this. Like this is such a complete movie for me. Like,
yeah, because it's because like that's one of the reasons why I love Tarantino movies is because they're always just so dramatic, but there's always funny moments in it. Like, there's always funny moments. Like in Django Unchained, the first time I saw it, whenever there's a KKK scene, whenever they're trying to find Django and
written by Jonah Hill.
That scene was?
Yeah.
No fucking way.
Yeah.
Damn. Shout out Jonah Hill. That's why he's in it.
Yeah.
But But like first time seeing that, I was dying laughing because that's so funny. Like you don't expect that in a movie. So like the tone shifts of it being serious and to making it funny. It's just so entertaining the whole time.
That's real life though. Like I think that's all it is when it comes to these types of movies. Like I appreciate the fact that there's just some moments when you're on this journey, because this movie takes place over like a span of like years, I think. I want to say like 2.
Yeah, it's multiple years.
Or
It's gotta
maybe,
be.
Well, yeah, because when they're going,
I mean, they're in.
he's in Albania for like 8 weeks.
But he's there for months at a time too.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm just saying, like, you can't make the whole thing serious. Now, you can't make the whole thing funny either, but like, dude, you got to show these guys having fun.
This is a ridiculous story.
Yes.
This is funny.
Yes.
21 and 25-year-old dudes
Exactly.
selling giant $300 million fulfilling $300 million contracts to the U.S. government. That's hilarious.
And they're stoned. I mean, they're stoned to the bone. The fact that that's actually real. It makes so much sense that they go off of that. That Effraim is just like, yeah, dude, we're going to fucking Baghdad. So what?
Yeah.
It's like, because he really doesn't understand. He doesn't understand that, like, his life's at stake.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to do that type of movie, you got to show him having fun.
Yeah.
Or you got to show them like laughing off an insane, like finding out that they just went through the triangle of death.
Right.
You know, it's like, what?
Yeah.
It's called the triangle of what?
Yeah.
You know, like, I like that kind of stuff.
And like speaking of that scene, it's obviously a funny movie and it's like a silly movie because all the jokes they throw in, it's funny, but it's also well made. There's a lot of good camera work throughout it.
Yeah.
It
was very well shot movie.
Like in the Fallujah scene, they set up the tension so great before the terrorists come to chase them down before they hit the military bases borderline. And whenever David's freaking out because he just saw a dead body inside of that gas station, he's like, what the fuck? He's freaking out. Ephraim's just chill.
Yeah, he says it's a war zone. There's going to be dead bodies.
Yeah, so the tension's there. She's like, where are we? We're in the Middle East at a gas station. There's a dead body here, fresh. It looks like this guy just got shot. Body's not rotting. It's like, where the fuck are we? So you're kind of worried. Ephraim's being all cool, but they give Effraim this like long walk to take a piss.
All right, we're in a war zone, bro. There's dead bodies. Relax. All right, I gotta take a leak.
Just so chill. So it gets out slow, so he's taking his time. Music's kind of there, but they hold on him. It's just one long take of him walking all the way to cross set to this building. He kind of slows down. He's fucking around. Still walking.
And it's made because, like I'm screaming at this point. I'm like, why would you walk this far away from the truck?
Yeah, so the tension's building. So like this long walk to go pee. Since you've experienced all that time for him to go walk, once you do see the terrorist in hot pursuit after them, you're like, fuck, he's got to get back to the truck.
Yeah.
And it's a long walk. Like all that time until he's got to take it again.
Yeah.
So it's like,
and they've already had guns drawn on them. Whenever they're crossing and Marlboro has to give them cigarettes.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, they already know that this is sketchy.
Yeah, super sketchy.
I mean, everything is sketchy, but once you get the first guns drawn on you, it's like, oh shit, we really could die.
Yeah, I mean, well, the funniest part is whenever Marlboro was telling them we have a 50-50 shot of surviving. He's like, what? He's like, yeah, that's why we go at night. We have better chances. Okay, what's our chances at night? 50-50.
Yeah.
He's like, what the fuck are we doing? Our best chances are at night and it's 50-50 we're going to survive or not? What the fuck? So like that tension's great. And then there's a cool thing they do with Bradley Cooper's character. What's his name? Before we get into this? Henry. That's right.
Yeah. Well, it was actually supposed to be like, God, I don't even know how to pronounce it. It was supposed to be Henry, but spoken like Swedish. Because the Bradley Cooper was supposed to play the character of like a Swedish arms dealer who is based on a real person, but nobody knows who this guy actually is. There's no pictures of him. Don't know his name. Bradley was in the middle of making a movie and, just couldn't perfect the Swedish accent. But what scene did you have with Bradley?
So
Henry.
Yeah, with Henry. So they do this technique where it's fairly common. They do it in a lot of movies. There's a lot of examples of it, but they have it to where they kind of show you the perspective through how the camera's moving. So when it's on Miles Teller, it's shaky, but every time it's on Brad Pitt, it's like on a tripod, steady, still. It's kind of moving here on him, shaking a little bit, but it's just so still on Bradley Cooper.
Now?
Yeah.
Did you really think you could cut me out of my own?
Basically a tripod shot of him. So that just portrays showing you the power of the situation. Like Miles Teller, when it's on him, the camera's shaky because he's like, what the fuck, I'm out of control. But when it's on Bradley Cooper's character, Henry, is just literally just so still because he has not worried. He has the gun over the guy being held down. So it's just that little camera work shows that pure power.
Yeah. Yeah. Another scene, going back to Effraim, that I really liked, just showing what kind of a character he is. You know, he's always putting on the show. Also, like, one of the funniest deliveries of the whole movie is when they get to Albania for the first time. And Effraim, you know, he's all decked out, like he's got a Gucci jacket on. He's just very excited to be there in, you know, rusty, dusty, dying, forgotten in the Cold War Albania.
Yeah.
And these guys really, their English isn't the best. And so Effraim tells him, he's like, thank you so much for doing this. And God, what does the guy say? He was like, yes. Oh, he was like, yes, like, we have AK ammo for you. He was like, I know, I just thanked you for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, looks away, I know, I just thanked you for it.
It was a sign that welcome AEY.
Welcome, AEY.
Thank you for the sign.
Oh, this for you.
Yes, I know. I said thank you for the sign.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was. That's what he was like, thank you for the sign. The guy says, yes, AEY.
I got it for you.
Yes, and he was like, I know, thank you.
Yeah, I know, I just said thank you.
Yeah, and he just looks at David.
Yeah.
He's like, these fucking idiots.
Yeah, and then same thing later whenever they're asking about the crates they need to get, and the guy asked him like a question that kind of is the same question he just asked.
Yeah.
He's like, I just fucking said it. What is up with these fucking people?
Look, to put it simply, we have a weight problem.
Right now, it's packed in heavy tins inside big wooden crates. And what we would like to do is to transfer those bullets into plastic bags.
For what reason?
We just told you. What the fuck is it with this country?
Just he's the American douchebag that, because they don't speak English, he just thinks they're dumb.
Yeah. Exactly.
So,
but also not giving them the answers they need. Like, how many crates do you need? We get it, 100 million boxes, but how many do you need?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he does.
100 million rounds of ammo, man.
He even like, he kind of announces it whenever they get to Jordan and he's talking to the 11-year-old boy. He was like, listen, I don't want to sound like an American douchebag here, but what does he say? He was like, I want those shades off that guy. Like, tell him I'll give him $100 and tell him gibberish.
Tell him I'll give him $100 for those shades. Tell him in gibberish.
Yes. Tell him in gibberish, I'll pay him $100.
Yeah.
Like, or whenever he is in the airport and he skips a line, cuts in front of everybody, and turns to the lady and says, "It's okay, I can go first. It's okay, I need to go first. I'm American."
Don't worry, I have to go first. I'm American.
Yeah.
Just piece of shit language.
Piece of shit. Yeah, like at one point during that Q&A I was talking about with Bradley Cooper and Todd Phillips, somebody asked, like, because these guys are the protagonists, do you consider their characters to be an anti-hero? And he tried to go, or are they villains or anti-heroes? And he tried to like kind of spin it around. He was like, well, you know, these guys are just dumb stoners that are trying to make a buck. Really, the real enemy here is the United States government. And, you know, mic drop, just like, oh, yeah, got it. Okay.
Yep.
Sure, we can go for that. No, Effraim is definitely evil.
Yep. No doubt about it.
Yeah, Effraim is definitely a villain.
Well, I mean, real life David to this day doesn't speak highly about Effraim. Doesn't defend him. Talks about how it was a horrible work environment, like all the things you hear about, because he's kind of goes on like podcast tours every once in a while where people want to talk to him and tell a story. Like I didn't watch any of them, but I did see I saw at least 3 full-blown hour-long plus podcasts with him sitting down with people, chit-chatting about the real story of War Dogs. So that guy clearly doesn't like Effraim. He got fucked over.
Yeah.
Didn't get the money he was promised.
Yeah.
And did shady business and was looped into crime. So
yeah,
he clearly doesn't like Effraim, the real life guy.
Yeah.
Well, I think even Effraim, the real life Effraim, he, after War Dogs came out, he invited, or somebody came to visit him. I think it was some journalist maybe. I don't know the details of this, but somebody went to go visit him and he convinced them to write his life story. And then he used that to then try to sue whoever made War Dogs. I forget the production company that made War Dogs. Let me just look it up
for what? Slandering his name?
Yeah, to make sure they can, so that way he can get money off of the deal, because he didn't get any money from it, from his life story. So he tried to sue them. I think it's Warner Brothers.
Yeah, but the fact that was this Effraim?
Yeah, Warner Brothers. Effraim did that in real life. In prison, had somebody write his life story and to use that to then sue. So he's like,
it goes
the
to
dude's
show
just a chess player, manipulating shit and manipulating people to do things so he can try to win.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
What a funny character.
Also,
Jonah Hill adding that laugh, which I guess he did like the week before they started shooting.
So good.
He like told Todd, he was like, I got this laugh. And he just did that, and Todd was just like, holy shit, like that's perfect. Like it's funny, but it's evil and it's obnoxious, it's arrogant,
but it's so funny.
Yes, but it is a laugh of like, it's like, I don't care where I am, I don't care what the situation is, like I'm gonna laugh like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna laugh like that for a whole restaurant to hear me, and I'm not gonna try and make it quiet at all.
And it's like,
so it's good for the character.
And it's also it's a punchline most of the time whenever they're in the warehouse in Albania where they see all their ammo. I think it's like their first time actually seeing ammo, like seeing their product in person for the first time.
Yeah, it's not just 100 million rounds, it's like 136 million rounds.
Yeah, and then they're like staring at it like, holy fuck, and just Ephraim's like, and then it just like echoes throughout the entire warehouse. And that's like, we all laugh because that's just funny. But it's like going off like Todd Phillips talking about the war and all that kind of stuff. The scene the coolest scene in the movie, whenever they're getting gas in Fallujah, and then
the triangle of death.
Yeah, and they're running away, and then the fucking U.S. helicopter comes in to save the day, and you hear Fortunate Son playing.
Thank God for Dick Cheney's America, or something like that.
Yeah, and so like as they're driving down the road, and then that the truck with the soldiers in, I think it's maybe a Humvee or whatever it is.
Yeah,
they're flicking them off, and then the guy in the back seat, you just watch him, his eyes are like dead. So they're so excited, they're pissed off, which is cool because it's almost like a symbolic thing where the soldiers are pissed off at these people who are the ones that are profiting and pushing for the war that they're fighting in.
Yeah.
So like they're having to save the people that are pushing and profiting off the war. So it's like, fuck y'all. Like we're here because y'all are making a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
And we have to save you. So fuck you.
I mean, I feel like, it does suck, but part of me would like to think that if it were just impossible to ever get like these weapons to the troops, I feel like it would then turn into okay, now we got to get them out of there. But now that they got the weapons there, it's like, oh no, they can fight still.
Right.
So
they're trying to fund it for the next 30 years.
Yeah.
Well, not on this deal. This is just the Brettas, but
yeah. No, that's a good pickup though. Like I definitely took it more of just like Americans seeing Americans and just being like, fuck you.
Yeah.
But no, that's definitely what it is.
And also, Fortunate Son's not a pro-war song either. So it's a badass song. You make you feel like America, but like the lyrics, it's like anti-Vietnam War, kind of talking about how shitty it is. So like that playing over too also adds to that you feels badass, but like kind of going with like military war, it feels badass.
Yeah.
But in reality, it's not.
Yeah.
So like the song is also a great match on there.
Yeah, definitely not on accident.
No.
I mean, Todd Phillips' portrayal of Effraim is just showing what he thinks all of these guys are like.
Yeah.
Because with David, I think there was some redeemable qualities that Todd just couldn't overlook because David was actually cooperative and telling the story, probably explaining to him multiple times, like, yeah, I feel bad about everything that happened. Like it was a huge mistake. Just that kind of thing, I would imagine, is how it would go. But the fact that Effraim wouldn't say anything to try and defend or just try and explain anything or like show any just, I'm sorry.
Yeah, remorse.
Yeah, remorse. And so Todd was probably like, what a dick. Now I'm going to make you look like the biggest asshole I can on the screen.
Yeah.
Because that's probably what you are.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely an anti-war movie.
Oh, yeah.
Like all things considered.
I mean, it's like, it's the same kind of vibe as The Wolf of Wall Street. A lot of people love it because it feels badass. And you're like, this is such a badass movie. I want to live like these guys. But it's really like a satire on that lifestyle, showing you how shitty it is. Yeah. Same with Goodfellas. Goodfellas is the same kind of deal where
they all go down.
The beginning is so flashy, it's fucking sick. Goodfellas, the beginning of it's so awesome that you just see the corruption fall down.
Scarface.
Same with Scarface.
Yeah.
Badass.
They
and then
keep referencing Scarface and how much they loved it. But they didn't really learn anything from Scarface did they?
Because Effraim is the type of character where he's going to pull the winnings of it, just like not take the responsibility of like what is the story actually telling you?
Yeah.
Not the vibe they're telling you the characters are feeling. Like what's the actual story telling you?
Yeah.
Effraim doesn't take it clearly.
Well, I mean, essentially like Effraim, like Tony Montana and Scarface, I mean, his whole character develops into the guy that believes that the world is his. It says on the blimp in Scarface, the world is yours. So Effraim took that movie way too literally.
Yep.
And now the world is his. Like his best friend is not really his best friend.
Nope.
It's a guy that gets him closer to the top of ruling the world, becoming the top dog.
Yep. Willing to screw everybody over.
Yep.
Because he wants to be the man.
Yep. Too selfish.
The one thing they cut from that second draft that I read that I kind of wish they kept in was Bradley Cooper's character Henry. He was a different character, different name, same character, just different name. It's like Thomet or TH. It's like Thomas, but with the T.
Okay.
Whatever. But he was like the godfather of the arms dealing. Like he was the number one guy. Like you were saying, he never had a picture taken of him. They write that in the script, how he always would hide his face and all that kind of stuff. He was same thing on a terrorist watch list. That was all the same. But there's a scene whenever he says they can fund their deal and get them the ammo in Albania. Ephraim's like, okay, well, we need to see it. I'll see the ammo. And he has a problem with that because he's the number one arms dealer. And so he doesn't want to give away his sources because he's the number one guy, secretive. He like has all of his shit tucked away and tight and he's the number one guy. So he can't just give away his distributing sources.
Yeah.
Just like what the weed dealers say that screw over Effraim. They say a lot cheaper when you get it from the distributor.
You get a better price when you come direct to the distributor.
Yeah.
Which foreshadows this scene that they actually cut out of it. But so he says that. So that sets up Effraim that sets up like the iffiness on why we should give you them. Like why should we let you see the sources? But Ephraim's able to convince him. It's actually a really cool scene because Effraim steps up and like almost challenges him and wins in the challenge. So you get to see how good Effraim is at this job.
Even with the top dogs.
Yeah, he's like, he believes in himself so much that he stands up for himself and like actually like tells this guy, no, we need to see it. You got to understand, I had this and that, and gives him a whole spiel. And then he's like, okay, fine, I understand. I'll let you see it.
Okay.
But then that sets up further that Ephraim's really just trying to steal and cut him out of the deal so he can just get it straight to the distributor.
Yeah.
So that would just have set it up a little bit better. Maybe they cut it for a better reason that I'm just not picking up on. Maybe it didn't work as well. But
I guess it did, kind of catch me off guard a little bit. And maybe it is a little inconsistent with the character of Henry, is that it seemed like this was just an easy deal for him to make money on. He looked at it as he was doing a favor to these young guys.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll just take care of everything for you, but you still make a fuck ton of money.
Because that character, maybe they said it in the movie, but at least they said it in the script I read, was that he made his first giant deal when he was 21. Which they're older in the movie. So he was like, damn, younger than me.
Yeah.
You made like a $300 million deal or something crazy with the government. Yeah. So like, that's kind of, he relates to the guys. That's what I think why he kind of gives them that chance, like you're saying.
Yeah. Now he screws them over, with the Chinese boxes.
Not even. Well,
I mean, it helped them. I think
it was the only way they could have done it.
Right.
Truly the only way they could have done it.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess what I'm getting at is like, he essentially made it seem like it was easy, and then it was hard, and then he told them, he was like, this isn't my problem, this is your problem.
Yep.
But then at the end, he like kind of has a nice heart.
Right.
But I guess it makes sense. Like he's like a reasonable guy. Like to where he
reasonable
gives,
arms dealer.
Yeah, like he gives David the money to like for sure buy his silence, even though he didn't have to.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe there's like a criminal's like code to that kind of thing. Like I didn't have to pay you or try to kill you to keep my name out of your mouth.
Yeah.
He still did that.
Mm-hmm.
So here's some money. I don't know. He's a cool character. I liked Henry.
Yeah. It just would have been cool if they would have had him be that Godfather character, like look up to him like, oh my God, it's this guy.
Yeah.
And, that was just a lot more prevalent in that second draft I read, which is cool.
Yeah.
They added some good moments for the characters, but they changed it for whatever reason. Yeah. I mean, maybe they just kind of scrapped that second draft and did a whole new story and just didn't add that part in or whatever.
Yeah.
But, all right. What are you rating We fucking forgot the goddamn rating system again. Okay, holy shit. We will debut this on episode 100 next week.
That makes sense.
We'll start our new chapter after 100 episodes with the brand new rating system. I'm going to do it right after we start recording.
Literally, yeah. Yeah.
I promise. I promise.
Okay. 9.9. Nothing's perfect, but this is just, I love this movie.
All right. And I'm
5.
Yeah. Knew that was coming.
Yeah. This movie's awesome.
I'm going to go 8 out of 10. Only because it's really enjoyable. 5 stars out of 5 stars for enjoyability. But I think it's not like super complex, deep. There's not like there's some scenes that I feel like, I don't know, maybe could have been, I hate saying this, like shot better. Who am I to say that? Yeah. But just like I think there could have been a little bit more creativity within some of the scenes. It's hilarious. It's great. Love watching it. But it's not like I don't think it's just like a cinematic masterpiece.
Yeah.
So.
No, I can get behind that. Cool movie though, man. I mean, they shot it all around the world, which I feel like doesn't really happen. A lot of movies just try to get you set on like
one location.
Just a few locations, like, and maybe like within the same country.
But if you're going around the world, you gotta. If you're traveling in the Middle East, you gotta like go to the Middle East or like places that look way different.
Yeah,
because it's way cheaper.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that kind of plays a role in why it's not exactly like the cinematic, shot masterpiece that, some directors are able to do research and like kind of have the time to prepare for that. But like Todd, he did talk about the fact that like when they shot some of this movie in Morocco, Morocco isn't totally ready for like a big, huge crew of Americans that are trying to film a movie. They have very limited resources, and just there's a lot of factors that probably go into like, listen, like we can't get like the $1 million shot here. Like we just got to get the best we can so we can just get the fuck out of here.
And it's also just not that kind of movie.
Yeah.
It's not they're not making this movie to be one of the greatest movies ever made. They're making it because it's entertaining. It's a great story and you're going to love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which we did.
Yeah.
Which everybody does. I don't know anybody that doesn't like War Dogs.
People that hate America.
You could still even get behind it because it kind of shitting on America in a sense.
If you wanted to. I don't know. I could see people that just truly hate America and hate, like 2 white guys that make it. But then they fall. So it's like you really should. They really should like this movie. If you do hate this movie, you should definitely tell us why. I mean, I'm very curious because a lot of people are complaining about movies now, and I get it. It's warranted. This is one of those movies that I'm just like, no, like this was a nice movie that came out that like you could watch with your friends. You could honestly watch it with your family. Like it's not too crazy for boomers.
Nope. Maybe. Well, no.
I'm thinking more of along the lines of
Would your dad watch it? And like
it? I honestly think my dad would like this movie.
Yeah, it's a guy movie.
It's a guy movie. But it's not like over excessive. Maybe, might be some F-bomb, but like, you're not getting like crazy, insane sex scenes like we're getting from movies.
There's not like much of nudity. There's no nudity, actually.
Yeah, there's a little bit of cocaine. You grow up.
Yeah. There's honestly way more cocaine in that script I read.
I could tell that they kind of... We're talking about Miami. These guys are making million dollar deals. You could have shown a lot more cocaine in this movie. But instead, they stuck to the grass, which I think is just a lot more appropriate to show rather than cocaine in the middle of the day. Like, show the guys smoking weed and putting night vision goggles on. We don't need to see the cocaine. Well, we see Effraim's character. We know the guy's coked out.
Well, the weed use doing arms deals is funnier than cocaine because cocaine actually makes sense because we think of Wall Street and we know the movie. So people are doing cocaine to fucking get on the phone and get after it. But weed is supposed to mellow you out. So watching them just get high and be stoned and be stupid, then they're making arms deals. That's pretty funny.
I know, but it's awesome because that actually happened. So,
literally actually happened.
You can't even really hate on the movie because it's not just some made up story. The shit happened. And you got to see a genius interpretation of what happened.
Yep.
So.
All right. Final thought. You want to give your race review from last episode?
Oh, race review, cinematography. out of 10, I'll give it a 0 out of 10. And enjoyability, I'm gonna give that a 0 out of 5 as well. I liked nothing about it. I wasn't happy with the results. I wasn't happy how I was essentially hustled by somebody that I considered a close friend.
I told you. I didn't hustle you. You hustled yourself.
I've never felt more betrayed. It's like I don't even know the guy that I'm talking to or live with. It's a bad situation, and it's shook up our friendship, and it's gonna fuck things up between us. And I hope you know that. I really do. I hope you understand that that one hurt me a lot, and that even if you knew you could beat me that bad, why'd you have to? Why didn't you take it easy? Why didn't you slow down a little bit?
Did.
You didn't have to embarrass me that bad. You did. You
were hyping yourself up, so I was like, I'm going full
I was
speed.
hyping myself up on what you led me to believe. I will not let you get this. Like we were running, and I thought when we were shooting that short film our second short film that will be released this summer. Stay tuned. When we were shooting, there was a scene where we had to like bolt and run as fast as we could, or at least I thought we were supposed to be running as fast as we could.
I had boots on.
I was beating you, and you swore that you were running as fast as you could, and you weren't, and you're a liar, and I hate you.
How bad would it have looked in the short if I'm just dusting you? We're supposed to be a team in the short. Yeah, when the cameras go on, when the camera turns off, me and Gray are just fucking not talking to each other. This is all fake.
It's all a facade. Yeah, man. No, I can't believe you did all of this. You're Effraim. It's like the whole point of any of this was just so you could embarrass me online by smoking me in a race. I mean, God knows how much you've been training. I have no idea. I don't know anything about you.
Had this plan for months.
Years, I would imagine. Probably since you saw me drinking a beer in our fraternity in college. You probably said, that guy is slower than me, but he probably thinks that he's faster than me. And I'm going to embarrass him. I'm going to build a large audience of people that are very committed to watching videos that we post on YouTube. And I'm going to dust him. Everybody's going to laugh at him.
Yeah, this is the last episode of the podcast. Mission accomplished.
Maybe that's what I'll do. I won't let you get to 100. I'm going to quit
Just
now.
quit.
No. Well, yeah, no, it's all good. I hate you. I don't care to hear what you have to say about the race. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you didn't enjoy the race. And if you did, you're a bad person too.
If you haven't seen it, go back. The last episode, skip to the end. Time code available. And just watch the cinematic masterpiece that I edited immediately after the race.
Yeah, I mean, if you do that, I just want you to understand that you're no fan of mine, and I want you to unsubscribe.
No,
and I want nothing to do with you.
Now, if you hate Gray, subscribe again for me. Okay, thank you guys for listening. We'll see y'all next week for episode number 100. We got a great movie in store that I think everybody loves. My personal favorite.
Everybody in our community, I think, is going to love what we got coming out.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, man.
You can't. But stay tuned for next week's episode, dropping episode 100, a big accomplishment for us. So we saved a good movie for it. See y'all next week. We're out.
Trying to buy my next meal. Seems all I do is drive. And when the boss man sends my next check in the mail, I'll have enough for closing time. And I've been cussing like a sailor since I ran out of weed. My tank is running dry.